New technology is revolutionizing modern lighting. Light's Fantastic Pro is giving builders, designers, and architects the technology and tools they need to create exciting spaces that have the power to make life better. Join us as we talk with forward-thinking industry leaders to see how they are taking modern living to the next level. Let's dig deep and find out how they are rethinking modern living.
I'm Joshua Rice, and I'm an interior designer. I started at a company called Bodron and Fruit pretty much right out of college. Within a few months of graduating college, was able to do beautiful work with them and worked there for approximately 7 years until I started my own firm in, I think, 2007. My background comes from such formality, but formality with sophistication. So when I went out on my own, I kind of wanted to try to keep that same level of sophistication, but tone down the formality a little bit and have these beautifully curated interiors that lack a little bit of the formality and more comfortable, livable. A lot of my clients are families or just people that, like to just live their life instead of, tiptoeing around furniture. When a client comes to me, the first thing we do is evaluate the interior. My goal is to create the most dynamic floor plan I can. I'm always trying to do something that either utilizes the space and get as much seating or as much interaction out of it. And it's a balance of functionality and how it fills the space rather than individual pieces. Once I've kind of worked out that equation, then the next step kind of goes into another balancing act of this chair has certain properties, and this sofa, and this is from this brand, more readily available, while this is a vintage piece that's a little bit more approachable, and then there might be a high design piece over here, and it's just kind of mashing all that together and creating that curated interior that we've talked about. I think about rethinking modern living all the time because now with the integration of electronics and how even though we kind of start to become isolated with these electronic devices, we still want to be around other people, so trying to kind of create these spaces where families can come and the kids might be over here working on their iPads or somebody's on their laptop over here doing some work. They're still spending time together, and that takes a lot of thought and work to kind of develop and mold a space to where that can actually happen. This house is a good example. They wanted a living room where the family could interact and kids could sit and do their homework and yet be part of the conversation. There's a desk behind me with a couple of pull-up stools and it has a power grommet in it. Ideally, that's where the kids can sit and do some homework while parents are watching TV, yet they're all spending time together, yet doing their own individual things. Depending on the scale of the project, if it's a multi-million-dollar house, you're foolish not to incorporate as many trades as you can because ultimately somebody's going to have to do it. Lighting designer is a good example. Things that you can do now with LEDs and will be able to do. It's changing so fast, and I think the possibilities with all the LED technology are endless. In a big multi-million-dollar house, the lighting has to be done. You can either put it off and have somebody that's not a professional do it, or you can actually hire a lighting designer to do it, and ultimately it's probably going to end up costing you the same amount of money. So I think it's a collaborative effort, and I think the best projects are when everybody gets together. I think it's important to get interior designers in as early as possible. I worked with the homeowners to develop the space and to curate the furniture and to curate the art. Was involved since the beginning along with the architect. And as this house was being built and as the spaces were being shaped, I knew exactly where art needed to go. So I wasn't brought in and kind of making use of existing spaces. I mean, we had the opportunity to create art walls and they were great to work with and have great taste. So, hence good art. I think in terms of design in the future, I do notice, albeit slowly, especially here in Dallas, that people are becoming a lot more appreciative and into design, which I think is very helpful towards the industry. I don't find people as often saying they just want a nice looking house. I get people that have ideas and input on designs or eras of design that they find interesting, which shows a knowledge that people 15 years ago didn't have. And I think that's a good thing.